You, get out. Yeah, you.
All right, lawyer.
Good evening, Crime Talk aficionados. Do you think that's what Justin Timberlake was saying when he was being arrested last night in the early hours of today? Lawyer. Well, that's what he should have been saying, but we'll have to wait and see if that's really what he did. But what we do know is that that's right. Let me put this up here. Let me see if I can get it to go up. Apparently not. I thought I had my mugshot picture here of Justin Timberlake. Here we go. Ta-da! Justin Timberlake's booking photo in Sag Harbor, New York. Unfortunate situation. And if you tuned in yesterday to our show, what did we talk about? Brought you a story about a lawyer that got arrested because she had multiple DUIs back to back. And he said it not to embarrass her, but just to simply show you how quickly one's life can be changed, and you think it will never happen to you. And guess what? Justin Timberlake, will give him the presumption of innocence, but he was arrested for DUI. Now, how did he get arrested for DUI? You can't just get pulled over by the police, can you? No, you can't. That would be an illegal contact. So the police have to have a reason to pull you over. So what we know is that obviously he being Justin Timberlake, ran a stop sign. That is a good way for the police to establish not only reasonable suspicion, but probable cause that a crime has been committed. That's right. And then it turns into this encounter that leads to the next step. And that's what happened to Justin Timberlake. Like I said, apparently he was cited for running a stop sign, failing to keep in his own lane while operating his 2025 gray BMW with Florida registrations. And he was apparently traveling southbound on Madison Street, a public highway in the village of Sag Harbor. Yes, the police could smell. What could they smell? An odor of an unknown alcoholic beverage coming from the breath of the now soon-to-be defendant, Justin Timberlake. The police officer noted that he had bloodshot, watery eyes, glassy eyes, slow speech, and unsteady on his feet. And what did he do? He performed poorly on all of these standardized, easy for me to say, standardized sobriety tests. Of course you were going to perform terribly. And I find that very hard to believe. Now, let's face it. I know Justin Timberlake. I thought he was great in the movie Social something, the one about Facebook. I thought he was great in that. I think he's a very talented actor. I mean, he can sing, he can dance. He's what they call, I think, a triple threat, right? He can sing, dance, and act. So for him to be unsteady on his feet, one could probably assume that he was perhaps a little inebriated. Poorly performed on the standardized tests. Nobody passes those tests, ladies and gentlemen. So I thought tonight would be a good time for us to talk about what, we're not going to beat up on Justin Timberlake. Hey, it can happen to anybody. Apparently, I'm not speaking out of school here. He has apparently, by his own admissions, had some trouble with alcohol, dealing with the pressure and stress of being rich and famous, apparently. And like we talked about the other day, I've known lots of attorneys, and I've seen lots of people literally have their lives come crashing down, crash and burn because of alcohol. And I'm no teetotaler. I am not. I just don't drink. I don't. because, I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not, like I said, I was young, high school, college. We drank. I drank a lot, but it was never got that bad. It just made me feel bad. And then when I was in the military, you had to get up really early. And so you couldn't feel bad really early in the morning. So it was just easier to stop. And frankly, I've just seen it destroy so many lives. And I do come from a long history, a long line of alcoholics on my mother's side of the family. So I think it's probably just best not to go there. And like I said, I've seen it ruin lots and lots of lives in my practice of almost 30 years of doing criminal defense work. And I've handled lots of DUIs. I used to have these great little cards. I swear it was great. What to do if you're getting pulled over, right? So I thought that I would maybe share a little bit of that advice with you all today. Now, we certainly do not condone drinking and driving, okay? You can actually drink drunk. I mean, well, you can drink and drive. You just can't drink and drive over a certain limit. But in today's world, DUIs are probably one of the most preventable crimes that anybody could ever do, okay? And just like old Justin Timberlake, coming out from dinner, and he is leaving, I guess, a restaurant or something to that effect, and he gets pulled over. It's something like that broken tail light. You didn't use your turn signal within 100 feet of turning. You have the brake light that's out. You swerve into a lane. That's all it takes. That's all it takes. The police officers will come up with anything. Some people were saying in a couple of the things I read about Justin Timberlake's DUI was that the police were sitting outside waiting for people, as they often do. Well, it's frankly a little unethical for police to sit outside of bars and restaurants waiting for people to commit crime, okay? They don't need to do that. There are plenty of people that commit crime, and the police don't have to literally go there to that. Crime will find them. And apparently, even knowing that a police officer was nearby, even though a police officer is nearby, right, sitting across the street potentially, maybe he was unknown to Mr. Timberlake, but apparently he decided to drive himself and then blew through that pesky little stop sign in this little town of Sag Harbor, out there by the Hamptons, I think, or something like that. It's where all the fancy people go. So, Mr. Timberlake, I can imagine this. Now, hold me to this when the video comes out, when the body cam video comes out, when more than likely this case is over. Most police officers have body cam video, and I can almost imagine the encounter. The officer comes up. Mr. Timberlake probably says something to the effect, "May I help you, officer?" Officer then says, "Sir, do you know why I pulled you over?" "No, I don't know why I pulled you over." Why you pulled me over? Did I miss the stop sign or something?" Funny you should say that. You missed that stop sign. May I have your license registration, please?" Why, certainly. I'm sure I have it here somewhere. Let me fumble around trying to find this. So tip number one, okay, always have your information handy so that you're not fumbling, because the officers will put in that paperwork that you're a fumbler. He was fumbling, trying to find his insurance and registration, ladies and gentlemen. So don't be a fumbler. If you drink and drive, I'm condoning it. I'm not, but let's face it, people are going to do it. Uber's been around a while. Everybody knows, don't drink and drive. People still do it. And so you don't want to be a fumbler. Don't be fumbling through the glove box in the car in usually a stressful situation looking for it. Did I put that new insurance card in here? Oh my goodness, I can't find it. The officer will note that you're a fumbler. You want to keep that window just cracked a little bit. May I help you, officer? Why? Because he's going to be smelling. You may be a fumbler, but he's a smeller. And he's going to be, Mr. Timberlake, thank you for your license. I don't know who that is. Apparently this officer did not know who Mr. Timberlake is, but frankly, it shouldn't have mattered, right? Law should be applied equally to everyone. And then I can see how the conversation continues. Thank you. for your license and registration. Hold on 1 minute. Let me run this. And then he's going to go back to the police car. He's going to type it into his little computer in there. Make sure that there are no wants and warrants for Mr. Timberlake from another jurisdiction. Make sure you've got a valid driver's license from Florida, perhaps, it looks like. And then he's going to come back and say, Mr. Timberlake, have you had anything to drink this evening? Apparently, Mr. Timberlake said, well, I had just one martini. Okay. That's not good, ladies and gentlemen. That's not good. All right. Little rule of tip here. I don't care if what you're doing, I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you have a cold beer in your hand, okay, and the officer walks up to you and says, have you been drinking? Remember, you have this cold beer in your hand. Have you been drinking? No, officer, I have not. Right? Doesn't know if it's full, open, how long it's been there. Maybe you're just picking it up to make sure it's empty, right? You just don't know. But you're going to never, ever admit to it, okay? Have you been drinking? No, okay? I think you will score more brownie points with the officer by saying no, holding the beer in your hand, than you would by saying, well, I had a couple. Because everybody says they have a couple. Really? All right. Well, Mr. Timberlake, would you please mind getting out of that vehicle? Because I am now turning my routine stop for running that stop sign into a DUI investigation. Would you mind stepping out of the car and performing some voluntary roadside maneuvers, right? Okay. And what Mr. Timberlake should have then said, this is where we're into the double refusal. Refusal number one, would you like to do some voluntary roadside maneuvers? Why? Well, officer, if you're giving me the option and it's voluntary, I think I'm going to say, no, thank you, sir. Now I'm going to politely say, no, thank you, sir. And then the officer's like stuck with his observations. Well, why are they doing that? They're trying to build more information as it relates to the officer's observations of impairment. Why? Because I'll get to that in just a second. Okay? The officer is there. Would you like to perform those voluntary roadside maneuvers? Well, Mr. Timberlake said, why, sure. Thinking to himself, although I may have had one martini, I am a very talented man. I can dance. I can sing on stage. I got this. That's what he thought. I mean, that's what I think he said. I have no idea. But that was really going through his mind. Because I was like, I can do this, because it would be an admission of guilt if I didn't get out and actually do the test, right? What do we always say? It's better to look guilty than to be found guilty. So the officer says, all right, I'm going to explain to you a couple of things. First of all, do you have any impairment? Do you have any injuries? Anything that would affect your ability, you had any brain injury? Hit your head recently? No. I'm in great physical health. Got any knee issues? Nope. Good, comfortable shoes you're wearing today? Oh, yeah, perfect. I could probably run a mile on these things. Well, that's great. Then the officer says, I'm going to do a couple of demonstrations for you. First, I'm going to demonstrate the walk and turn. You're going to walk. Don't begin until I tell you to do it. You're going to go out. You're going to walk 6 steps. You're going to turn around, walk 6 steps back, placing, starting on either foot, placing the heel in front of the other foot, and do that 6 times. Turning back around, do that. I shall demonstrate, the officer will say. He will walk. He'll do. Officer who is usually trained in some sort of DUI enforcement, particularly if they're working the night shift, he can do it just like that. Boom, done, right? So, of course, now it's Mr. Timberlake's turn. Apparently, he failed all the roadside maneuvers terribly. Moving terribly. Failed it. Probably missed a heel to toe. That's a clue. Probably, I'm sure, messed up the walk and turn. Probably started before he was in instructed to begin. Another clue. Next thing you know, you add up all those clues and they're saying, oh, you failed that test. Hey, but let's do one more, okay? Why don't we have you stand here? You feel okay, right? You're going to stand up. You're going to lift your arms. You're going to put your right foot 6 inches above the ground, and you're going to hold it there. And, we're going to close your eyes. You're going to count to 15. Okay. All right. Let's do that. We're going to also look for horizontal nystagmus. Horizontal nystagmus, HGN, to look if there's jerking in the eye. The officer will look, and he'll see that when you follow the light, there's a jerking of the eye. Very few people have natural nystagmus. In all the cases that I've done over the years, I had one client, I swear to God, natural nystagmus. Got the case dismissed shortly after that because we went back to the officer and said, I got a doctor's note that says this guy's got natural nystagmus. That's why he had HGN, horizontal gaze nystagmus, is the jerking of the eyes, which is they use as an indicator of being intoxicated. So, I'm sure Mr. Timberlake went through all that, horizontal gaze nystagmus, multiple clues, walk and turn, one-legged stand, fail, fail, fail. So then the officer would say, Mr. Timberlake, is that your name? No, I'm pronouncing that correctly, Mr. Timberlake? Now, apparently at some point, people walk up, some friends, some fans, whomever, said, hey, give the guy a break. That's Justin Timberlake. Cops like, I don't know who you are, man. Apparently pretty young kid or something. But doesn't matter. Law is supposed to apply to everybody. Anyway, the officer then comes up to Mr. Timberlake, in our dramatization here, says, Mr. Timberlake, I believe that I have probable cause to arrest you for driving under the influence of alcohol. And therefore, you have a option to do a breath or blood test. And if you refuse to do so, your license could be suspended up to a year. Are you willing to do that? Well, what we know in this case is Mr. Timberlake said, no, I'm not going to do that. You may have got me on the voluntary roadside maneuvers. You may have got me on that walk and turn. You may have got me on the horizontal gaze and the nystagmus test and the one-legged stand, but you're not going to get me on the Intoxicated 5000, Mr. Officer. No, you're not. So apparently, according to reports, he refused. Now, why would he have done that? Now, this is the thing, right? This is the thing. This is the thing that always gets people in these cases. Now, I don't think Mr. Timberlake, he will probably be offered a sweetheart deal. He'll probably get like what they get in everybody. We can talk about this because I looked up the stuff in New York. He'll probably get a driving while ability impaired, first offense, basically a slap on the wrist. Because like I said, it can happen to everybody. You're going to do a bunch of classes. You're going to have to, don't drink and drive, all that good stuff. Anyway, apparently there's been reports that Mr. Timberlake was wasted, drunk, snackered. Very, very good reason then to avoid taking that test. Now, you say, Scott, but he's been so polite and cooperative up to this point, right? I mean, sure, he ran a red light or a stop sign. Who can't do that at midnight or 2 a.m. in Sag Harbor, New York? I mean, how many cars could there possibly have been in this nice little bedroom community? It's not like he killed anybody or anything like that, right? Anyway, so Mr. Timberlake says, yeah, I don't want to take that test. Now, I am certainly not giving people legal advice, okay? I'm just telling you what I've seen over the years. Everyone always said, well, I didn't feel comfortable taking the test. I don't trust machines. I'm allergic to needles. And I couldn't take the blood. They offered me a blood draw. I just couldn't do it. So they refused. But it's a double-edged sword. If you'd done what I had told you to do, for example, officer, you have the beer in the hand. Have you been drinking? Well, no, officer, I have not been drinking. How dare you accuse me of such a thing? This is root beer, officer, right? Would you take the voluntary roadside maneuvers? No. Then would you take the test? No, because you are accusatory, you are inflammatory, and I will not engage in this travesty of a mockery of a sham of accusing me of drinking and driving. We all know it's against the law, and how dare you do that, right? But think about it. Like I said, I don't drink. I've always thought, wouldn't it be kind of fun, if you get pulled over for, I don't know, speeding, right? Have you had anything to drink tonight? No, officer. Why would you think that? Right? Would you do voluntary roadside maneuvers? No, he's going to arrest you anyway. Because all that stuff about the bloodshot, watery eyes, slurred speech, a no note of alcoholic beverage, that in most states is enough to get you arrested. All the other stuff, the voluntary roadside maneuvers, the admissions of drinking, the test, that's all icing on the cake, okay? Don't get me wrong. Body cams these days made DUI cases much easier for the prosecution, right? Because they can just see your guy there, right? We had a guy years ago. The cops followed him for like 2 miles while he drove on a car with no tire, just a rim, because he'd hit the curb and he didn't know it. And he was just, they had to pour him out of the thing. I mean, it was bad. It was bad. It's like clearly not going to go to trial in that case, right? So anyway, Justin Timberlake refused. Not necessarily a bad thing, right? If you're going to refuse, I say refuse on all of them. But remember, it could result in the revocation of your license. Most states say, hey, you expressly consent to give your breath or blood if you operate a motor vehicle in the state in which you are operating a motor vehicle. You expressly consent. If not, we are going to take your license, like suspension. Yeah, maybe we'll send you down to the DMV hearing. And I don't know what most states are like, but our DMV hearings, they're a joke. If you subpoena the officer and he doesn't show up, you're supposed to win. And they'll wait for like 15, 20 minutes, but they'll call the officer. They're like, oh, we're going to go off Zoom for a minute. And they're like calling the officer. They're calling the state. Where is he? Where is he? They hate when they actually have to do that. But it's just the way it is. Because the DMV hearing. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Timberlake will have to deal with this as well. You have 2 proceedings that take place when you get a DUI, right? In most states. You got the criminal side where they can send you to jail. And then you got the administrative side, the Department of Motor Vehicle, that says, hey, we're going to give you this hearing. Yeah, it's a little kangaroo court. We're going to have a guy that may not even be an attorney, being the hearing officer, saying, I find that there was reason to pull you over. The officer had probable cause to believe that you were impaired. And he took the test. And if he took the test, it was properly administered. The blood was drawn within the amount of time. And then the blood result came back and it was above 0.080, or you took the breath test, or you refused. So therefore, I'm going to suspend your license for a year. And that's it. Administrative side, court side. What is actually more aggravating is the DMV side. Now they've made it a lot easier. It used to be, we're really tough. 90-day suspension, no driving. That was even before the Uber days, right? And now with Uber everywhere, they're like, okay, fine, 30 days, no driving, no big deal, right? That's the way it is here in Colorado. It is what it is. Refusal used to be a year. They suspend your license for a year. Now it's like, okay, we understand it's inconvenient. There's no public transportation here. So we're going to do 90 days and you can get a red license. You can do anything you really want to do with a red license. Just don't be caught at Aspen at 2 a.m. buying a loaf of bread because you run into the store, because that's what you can get on the red license. People go to the store, all that kind of stuff. So that's, remember, you have 2 things when you go. Justin Timberlake's going to have to deal with this as well. Administrative side, court side. Court, they can send you to jail, make you take classes. DMV side, we're going to suspend your license, make you take classes, put that dang interlock device in your car, the old blow and go, so you can't do that. And it gets more complicated for a guy like Justin Timberlake, because I bet he's got lots of cars. So then you can't drive lots of cars. You think, well, God, it's a vehicle, right? So you have to have the interlock on your car to show that you're not drunk before you go. I've seen it actually had to be installed like on heavy equipment. It's machine. It's movable, right? Crazy stuff. But that's what you have to do when you deal with it. So it's going to be an administrative night. Where now, fortunately, Mr. Timberlake is going to have lots of lawyers. He can get through the inconvenience of having to deal with all this type of thing. Anyway, so Mr. Timberlake, he doesn't take the test. I think if you're totally obliterated, what I've seen is that's the best thing you could do. Doesn't go off as well in court these days with body cams, but back in the day when it was just the officer's word versus how dare he accuse me of being drunk? I was not drunk. I was not drunk. I was having a reaction to my diabetes medication. That fruity breath came from my diabetes. You name it. When it was just good old-fashioned police officer versus you cross-examining them versus how dare you accuse my client of this, right? Well, if he was so drunk, why didn't you immediately arrest him? Why, if he was so drunk, why did you let him put himself in danger of falling down under your care and custody and control, officer? That's right, because you weren't sure that he was actually intoxicated. So you go through that. Like I said, you admit to drinking, man, they could pull you out, have you do the test right there. All that other stuff, icing on the cake. Not that we're condoning drinking and driving, ladies and gentlemen. It is dangerous. And the biggest problem is that if you kill somebody while you're drinking and driving, it's not just a simple DUI anymore. No, it is not. Now somebody's dead. Now somebody's seriously injured. You are going to prison. You're not going to get probation. You're not going to get a couple of days in jail. You're not going to get the Mothers Against Drunk Driving classes. You are going to prison, right? What do we say here in crime? General rule, dead body, generally, somebody's got to go to prison. And unless you just happen to kill your best friend who was also totally obliterated and his family is like, we love, the defendant like our own son, and it's not going to bring anything back. It's not going to help anything. We forgive him. Don't send him to prison. He has such a bright future. Unless the victim's family gets up and say that, you're going to prison. You're going to prison. Okay? Now, I've seen that happen where the victim's family begs the judge not to put the defendant in prison on a vehicular homicide case. But normally the victims on the other side are like, yeah, I used to have a very active life, and you killed my dad, and I'm a paraplegic, and I think that you should go to prison for the rest of your life because this was so preventable, and you could have gotten an Uber or not driven, and you did, and now everybody's injured, and we're going to have to live this for the rest of your life. So I hope that you wake up every morning from that little prison cell thinking of what you did. That's normally what the sentencing is going to look like. So fortunately for Mr. Timberlake, the only thing he did other than breaking the law by allegedly drinking and driving was the fact that he ran that stop sign. So what do we need to know about, okay, for those of you who are maybe joining us for the first time, my name is Scott Reich. I'm an attorney, practicing attorney. In January, started my 30th year. So literally what we talk about here when it comes to true crime or famous cases, interesting cases, I assure you, I have probably done it. I have probably tried it. I probably lost at a trial. I probably won one at least a trial. Okay. So I have actually done it. Okay. So, and then you got to have, when you have a case and you talk about this, you got to talk about the unpleasant stuff. And I was doing some research, my show prep, because we didn't do a show today because I was busy, and Frank is still out on vacation. But I think Frank actually returns to the great state of Colorado tomorrow and should be in Thursday. Frank, we miss you, buddy. I need you back, okay? But did you see how I was able to put up the mugshot? Wait for this. Are you waiting? I was able to put up the mugshot of Justin Timberlake. That's right. Did that all by myself. Look at that, the Justin Timberlake mugshot. Do you see some bloodshot watery eyes there? A little glazy, little glassy there, even after being arrested. Although he probably sobered up really quick when he was being told he's going to jail tonight. Anyway, he appeared in court and was released on his own recognizance bond. So his attorney's going to do everything he did. I'm sure his attorney has told him what I basically told him. All right, here's how things work. And this is what's going to happen. We're going to go to court. We're going to talk to the we're going to talk to the district attorney. We'll probably get a plea bargain offer. You're going to have to decide whether you accept it or not. The body cam video is going to be the most obvious. Did you have slurred speech? Was all those kinds of things. I mean, you're Justin Timberlake. You're a dancer, singer. You could act, triple threat. If you fail the stuff, or maybe the officer was just a little overzealous and nitpicked everything, and Mother Teresa could not have passed those roadside sobriety tests by this officer. So we'll have to wait and see. We probably won't get the body cam video until after the case is over, but that's the way it is. So at then some point, the attorney for Mr. Timberlake is going to have to do one of the unpleasant things of any job, particularly as it relates to this type of stuff, is talking about the possible penalties. Now, let's take a look at this. I'm doing this all by myself too. Look at this. All right. Here are the penalties. Oh, wow. Let me take off the Timberlake one here. Oh, geez, we got Timberlake, we got me, and the penalty sheet here. All right. Now, let's face it. Is he going to get a whole lot of stuff? No. He's a refusal, but an aggravated DUI there in New York is above a .180. The legal limit being .080. Hopefully you can see that there. And as you can see, aggravated driving while intoxicated, DWI or DUI in some jurisdictions, you can get your license revoked for a year and up to a year in jail. You get a second one within 10 years in New York, you could go to prison for 4 years and lose your license for 18 months and be fined up to $5,000. You get a third, 7 years in prison possibly, right? What did we talk about the other day? Hey, first one can happen to anybody. Maybe you didn't realize you had just a little bit too much wine at dinner with the friends, and oh my gosh, am I at .050 or .080? That's really about 2 drinks, ladies and gentlemen, to get you there. So the first one, no big deal. Second one, the state says, hey, you just didn't learn. New York is a felony. Here in Colorado, you got to get up to 4. Your fourth, you get to be a felon. Third, up to 7 years. Driving while DWI, intoxicated by drugs, up to a year. Once again, all the other stuff. Let me see if I can move this up and down here a little bit. No, let me see. It's not going to work. Let me see here. If we go here to down here, penalties, DWAI, which is driving while, let's see here, DWAI, driving while ability impaired. First offense up to a year. DUI, DWAI, second offense 4 years. And you can see it just gets worse and worse and worse. All right. And then we have chemical refusals. A little interesting under their little chart here. You get a penalty, revoked at least 1 year, 18 months for your commercial driver's license. But it's unclear under the DUI. There's no greater penalty for a refusal, but once again, you still got to deal with the penalties up here. Now, most states, it's not just, in the state, like, no, you had a DUI in California and then you get one in New York. They count that second one, the previous one, as your second. So you could be looking at being a felon for doing that. So you got to be careful wherever you go, ladies and gentlemen. Best legal advice I can probably give you: don't commit crime. Don't drink and drive. All right? That is the best way you can do it. Otherwise, that's right, you could have your mugshot put up here on Crime Talk. Who wants that? Not me, right? Not Mr. Timberlake, for sure. So there you go. Your little public service announcement from your local lovable criminal defense attorney, explaining through everyday life examples what to do if you get yourself in a precarious situation. Now, although I, have given this advice before, apparently Mr. Timberlake didn't watch Crime Talk, and look where it got him, ladies and gentlemen. Look where it got him. Had he followed simple advice, take a look.
You, get out. Yeah, you.
All right, lawyer. Lawyer. Lawyer.
That's right. Lawyer, lawyer, lawyer. Say it 3 times, firmly, confidently. Invoke that right. Make everyone know you are requesting counsel. Now, here's the thing on DUIs. Most states don't allow you. Some do, some don't. But you got to check with your local people. Don't rely on me. Some do, some don't. Hey, can I call my attorney? And, usually the attorneys say, well, you got a couple of options. Obviously, you should probably take the test. Otherwise, it's going to result in a revocation of your license. But if you're really intoxicated, don't take the test. Don't take the test. That's what I've seen. That is what I have seen over the years where people get the best result. Okay. Other examples that I've seen, I'm not saying I would do this because as a member of the bar, I cannot tell people or counsel people how to break the law. We can't do that. But what I have seen is, let's say, for example, I've defended cases like this. People have a single car accident, perhaps drive off the road, just happen to have a bottle of whiskey in the trunk, and they start partaking of it because it gets really cold out there, or they get really stressed and they're going to have to call their wife. Seen that, right? Because they have to prove that you drove and operated the motor vehicle while intoxicated. And you're like, well, I'm turning on my phone now. I'm stone cold sober, but I'd like to have a drink right about now. I can really use a drink right now. Then you can do that. So you got to be careful. Like I said, best advice, don't drink and drive. Call a friend, have a designated driver, pay for the damn Uber. I get it. They're expensive, but man, they are convenient. They are convenient because, going to jail, losing your license, having to go to all those damn classes, they're going to say, well, you're on probation here for a year, 18 months, whatever it is. Guess what? You can't drink. Your drinking days are done. Now, that shouldn't be a problem for somebody unless, of course, you have a drinking problem, right? And when you're walking out, like, hey, they're going to put you on pretrial services because, it's your 2nd, 3rd, 4th, what have you. If you were to take that UA test today, how would it come out? Would it be negative? Well, I may have had something to drink because, I'm on my last day of freedom. Not a good answer. I'm like, okay, well, good luck, man. See you at the revocation hearing when they revoke your bond because you're drinking. You've got a problem, okay? But most people just don't think about that. And I've had clients over the years literally say, I've had a drink every day for the last 20 years. I never thought I was an alcoholic, but now that I can't drink it, oh my God, I can't stop. I need it. And they said it was one of the most hardest things that they did. I remember once I was a very young attorney. And, I was looking for cases. I was just trying to get my practice going. And I took this guy, I think it was a referral. I had met a guy. I just got out of the military. He was in the military. And I went around saying, hey, if can I put some cards in your business office, in your office? This is, 25 years ago. And this bondsman he was great because he would be like, I'd be mowing my lawn at home and he would call and I would pick up the phone and he's like, hey, I got a case for you. Hold on. And he, hand the guy that he just bonded out, say, you're going to go with this attorney. It was great. And of course they didn't have to, but they did. And we got good results. But this guy had numerous DUIs. I think he was like on DUI number 6. And I'm like, this guy's been, going to DUI classes before I was even born. Just been doing it. And during the process, he got sober. He got totally sober. And he came to my office and he was telling me, he goes, I've spent a fortune on alcohol classes, paying attorneys over the years, and, worrying about going to jail, worrying about getting caught, drinking, losing jobs, all that stuff. And one day he says, I woke up and he goes, I was hungover, but I slept in a little later. And he said he was sitting there by the window this spring day. And he said, for some reason, I noticed that the birds were chirping. And he goes, I don't know why, but I just happened to notice that the birds were chirping. He goes, and Scott, he goes, I can't remember the last time I remember listening to the birds chirp. And he stopped drinking because he wanted to hear the birds chirp. Like I said, I've seen lots of alcoholics in my days, clients, and whatever it does to get them sober. Like I said, I'm no teetotaler. I know some people can handle their alcohol, never have an issue with it, and some can't. And I hope if you do, hope you would never have any issues with it. But I've seen it ruin lots of lives. And usually people have to hit their bottom, and then they finally decide what they're going to do. But that guy had it. Justin Timberlake. He's come out and said, "Hey, I've had some alcohol issues. It's stressful." Like I said, I've known lots of attorneys that have had lots of issues with alcohol. And, it starts off, well, we drank in school, we drank in college, we drank in law school, we partied, all the stress of this and that. And so they get used to that one drink when they come home. I'm just going to have one drink tonight. And then they have a tough day. Well, I'll have two tonight because it was a really tough day. And those tough days get more and more repetitive. And, suddenly it's, well, I'm going to have 3 or 4, or I'm going to have a tall one. And that's the norm. And I've seen great attorneys. And you're like, wow, something's not right? And then you find out they've got booze in their desk drawer, or you go driving with them in their car and they hit the brakes and all the cans come rolling out and the bottles come rolling out from underneath the seat. And you're like, maybe I should drive home, right? Or maybe I should drive on the way back. It's a stressful gig, Mr. Timberlake, you think, oh, he's got it made, right? He's rich, famous, talented, great family, all that kind of good stuff. But it can happen to anybody. And unfortunately, he got busted last night about 12:30 outside of a restaurant where he was with friends, and there was a police officer there. And he was pulled over. Not a big drama, apparently, just that he got pulled over because he blew a stop sign. Now he's got to call his wife. Hey, Jessica Biel, I think is her name, right? She's a famous actress as well, I do believe. And, 2 kids, 9 and 3. Oh, by the way, he's got to go out of town for his concerts. Now, it's not that big of a deal, right? He's rich and famous. He can get back and forth. It's not like he's going to be hiding out. He's not going to abscond. He's got an attorney. It's all good. But I'm sure that's embarrassing for him. And we're trying to use this as a teachable moment here, ladies and gentlemen. A teachable moment. Let's learn not only from our own mistakes, because we all know we are flawed individuals, but if we can learn from somebody else's mistake as well. So what have we learned here tonight? Obviously, first rule, don't drink and drive. I have told my kids, you have one drink, you Uber or you call me. This is when they were, junior high or even college. And I'm sure they pushed it. Everybody has. Who here's pushed it driving with, right? I remember as a young high school student think, I'm fine. And then you kind of overrun that stop sign. I still remember where it was, overrun that stop sign and just kind of kept on going. I remember it. I think, that's not good. That's not good at all. Okay. But people do it, but don't do it. That's the rule of thumb. 2, if you get pulled over, and I don't care if you have a cold beer in your hand or in your lap as you're driving, and the officer asks if you've been drinking, your response is, no, sir. Okay. The officer then asks you, what do we learn next? Number 3, if the officer asks you to do voluntary roadside maneuvers, you politely decline. Since they're voluntary, I don't feel like I'm prepared for that test today, sir. Now, here's the trick part. The test thing. Okay. You got to be very careful because there are very strict consequences in some jurisdictions. So you need to consult with your local attorney on how to proceed. Normally, the more severe consequences with the refusal. Now, certainly, if you're going to blow through that test, it may not, they already got maybe the admission of drinking, they have bloodshot, water eyes, slurred speech, stumbling out of the car, using the thing. You're a fumbler, getting your stuff out. And then you're a leaner. You're an unbalancer. He's unbalanced, unsteady on his feet. You don't want to be a fumbler, unsteady, and leaning against the car, ladies and gentlemen. With bloodshot eyes, that's enough. A jury could convict you. So if you're totally hammered, I'm not sure I'd say, you're right. Let's go take that test because I'm worried about my driver's license, right? Probably not going to happen. Now, like I said, this would be the beautiful thing. You get pulled over. The officer says, have you been drinking? No, sir. Would you mind taking those tests? No. Well, I smell an unknown odor of alcohol. Well, I just had a fine cigar, sir. I don't drink. Well, it smells like alcohol to me. We'll just go downtown and we'll take that little test. I'd be like, you betcha. Let's go. Because if I was stone cold sober, and that's the thing that I was clients like, I didn't take that test because he was mean to me. Okay. If he was being mean to me, wouldn't be the best way to just tell that officer to go, ooh, by saying, oh, I'll take your silly little test, and you blow zeros. Right. So, if you think you're below the 0.050, which is DWAI in most jurisdictions, if you're minor, sometimes it's 0.02, right? 0.02, that's like you took a sip. You took a sip as a minor. You're probably 0.02. I'm exaggerating, but you get the point. 0.02. I mean, think about it. I wish I had my little thing here. It's in my office, but a little 0.02. Insignificant. 0.050. Probably one drink will get you there. 0.080, probably 2 drinks. So just be careful. Don't do a Justin Timberlake. But like I said, I'm not beating up on Mr. Timberlake. Hey, it can happen to anybody. But my guess is, even though I think he owns a tequila company, he will not be partaking of adult beverages for a while. And why? Because everyone will be watching. And they don't want him to get in trouble. It's just easier to do that, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So I think we've talked enough about Justin Bieber. Justin Timberlake. Justin Bieber had his own issues years ago. I don't think it was DUI, but it was like for speeding or something, racing his car. But like I said, it can happen to anyone. Tyzar says if you lick the bottle cap, you'll be at 0.020. You're not wrong. It's not that much. So, although we are, we talked about, this is our Tuesday night live show. I kind of missed it. Maybe it was because Frank wasn't here to do it. I have to have the headphones on to make sure I'm staying close enough to the microphone to make sure that you can hear me. I got to work the big computer back here. I mean, I thought Frank was the hardest working man in show business, and he is. Look, but I did this all by myself today. Look, Justin Timberlake. Just like that. I did that. Look at that. Justin Timberlake, me. Justin Timberlake, me. Okay, back to our thing. So 3 things that we learned, 4 things, right? Never admit to alcohol. Don't do the voluntary roadside maneuvers. Got to decide whether you're going to take that test or not, right? And then the big one is, right, well, you're under arrest. Under arrest. Now what are you going to do? You going to take that test? Yes or no? That's when...
You, get up. Yeah, you.
All right, lawyer.
That's when you want to be polite and cooperative and just sit there in the back of the police car. You don't want to answer those questions, right? Remember Scotty Scheffler, the PGA Tour guy that got arrested? The charges were dismissed for assault on the peace officer. But, they're asking, how did this, he's sitting in the back, trying to make small chat with you. That's where they try to get you to admit, yeah, I guess I had a few more drinks than I probably should have tonight. Oh, man, I can't believe I did this. My wife is going to be so upset with me. Oh, you think my boss? I drive trucks for a living. I have a CDL. How's this going to affect that? Oh, you're probably going to lose your license, man. You may be banned as a CDL for up to a year or longer because we want safe people on the trucks, on the roads, handling these big, trucks that weigh tons that could just roll over somebody. So we probably don't want a drunk behind the wheel of that. So, oh, dude. And then they go to the attorney and say, hey, man, my career is that of a commercial CDL. I have a CDL license, commercial driver's license, and I can't lose my job, man. I can't lose my job. Okay, well, I know what I would do if I was going to drive as a professional. I probably wouldn't drink and drive and lose my livelihood that supports my family. Well, you got to save me, dude. You got to save me. I can't lose my license. Well, I'll do my best, but I can't make you a promise or guarantee. I'll pull out all the stops. I'll pull out all the tricks we can do to see what we can do to make sure, we win at the hearing so you don't lose. And, I don't know, but man, I can't tell you any promises. I can't make you a promise I can't keep because, well, then I'd be lying and I can't lie to you. So that is the way it works. They come in, oh, I did this, made a mistake. I'm going to lose my life, my job. My wife hates me. She's going to divorce me. I'm sorry. And, lawyers get all the bad raps all the time. They're like, oh, you guys just tell people what they want. No, I spend half my day telling people what they don't want to hear, right? This is not good. We got to make a decision. Here's bad stuff. Oh, yeah, you're looking to go to prison. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. It's it's a DUI. And, yeah, you had one when you were, 21. You're now 40. But guess what? It still counts as a second. And guess what? You still got to go to jail for 10 days. Sorry about that. Yeah, because this judge we're in front of, she didn't do in-home detention. Sorry. But I can't go to jail. I'm 50 years old. I can't go to jail. Talk to the legislature. They're the ones that make these rules. Let's see here. Okay, let's go to a couple questions here. Jerry's putting it up here. I got arrested for DUI in 2008. I did not take all the tests, but when the polite cop asked if I wanted to answer any questions, I said, lawyer, all right, Jerry, you get it. That's why we keep saying.
Get out. Yeah, you.
All right, lawyer.
Right? Clear, unequivocal, and you let it be known at least 3 times. Okay? That's what the Supreme Court would like to say. Okay? Because remember, when they take you back to the police station, if you get arrested, they're going to ask you all kinds of questions. Oh, I need your name. Where do you live? Is there a sober party that we can turn this over to? We can call. Do you want your car towed? All those type of questions. And then if you agree, hey, how much have you had to drink? Well, I just had a couple of beers. I don't know. I got a couple of beers. And then the BAC comes back as a .260. I'm going to guess it was a little more than 2 beers. But everybody says a couple. Everybody says a couple. So remember that, ladies and gentlemen. Less is more. Less is more. Just keep your mouth shut. All right. All right. Let's go to a couple more questions here. It's let's see here. Everyone hates a lawyer until they get. That's right. Everyone hates a lawyer until they need one. I'm telling you, it's Mom Pink. You're right. My lawyers let's see here. My lawyers always told me they can't guarantee anything. Yes, that's true. I can't. No attorney can. I tell people that come in and say, well, what kind of guarantees can you make me? I'll guarantee I'll do my best. Well, I talked to this other guy and he said he'd guarantee me probation. And I tell him, you should go hire that man. But I would make sure before you sign and give him a single penny that you get it in writing. And any attorney with any ethical assault will say, I can't put that in writing. In fact, most attorneys' fee agreements say, I can't make you any promise or guarantee as to the duration and outcome of the case. You simply can't do it. You just simply can't do it. There's too many things. There's too many variables unknown. You can't take necessarily your client's word for it, although you like to. You got to trust but verify. You've had clients. Every attorney's had clients walk in the door. You're like, particularly when you're young. Oh, this is going to be the best case ever. This is the best ever. We're so going to win. You're thinking it's going to be great. And then you get the discovery, all the police reports, everything in the case. And you're like, I don't, this is completely opposite of what he told me. And you're like, okay, that sucks. Now I got to tell him that, where did you forget all this? Where you confessed and you talked to the police and all this other type of stuff, right? It's terrible. And then you have other cases where you think, oh, this is just going to be a routine case. We're going to get a standard offer. And you're like, wow, we got a great issue here. We got a great issue. You're going to make this go away. And sometimes, I hate to say it, sometimes it's the most undeserving clients that get the best results, usually because they keep their mouth shut. So, yeah. Let me see here. Lisa says, I don't even think I can stand the smell of liquor. Let me take a look here. Let's see here. Great show. Oh, Justin Ross Harris was the guy convinced. Okay, I'm sorry. The comments were going by. So, great show tonight. Watching you on the in-flight internet. How about this strategy? Don't drink and drive. Hey, Mike, how you doing? Profiling Evil. You are absolutely right. I've said that early. Not giving legal advice on how to do it. My best advice is don't drink and drive. And if you are going to drink, don't drive. That's the best advice you can get. Mike, hey Mike, let me know if you're coming to town. I know there's that little hearing going on. I don't know if you're going to be involved in that or not, but I saw somebody the other day that said hi. I'm like, what are you down here for? It's like, oh, I'm down here, for this thing. Can't really talk about it. It's like, oh, okay. But I knew what he was talking about. Anyway, yeah, Scott, please explain the third-party stuff to Kara Reed. We'll try to. The Kara Reed stuff is I don't know what you're talking about. The third-party stuff is to the text messages. I'm sorry. I don't want to pick. Let me know where that's coming. Try to maybe do a show on that as well tomorrow. And the Karen Reed trial, oh my gosh, we can talk about that in a little bit. I didn't get a chance to watch it today. I think that what's the word I'm looking for? I don't think there was court today. I don't think there's ever court tomorrow because it's the new federal holiday of Juneteenth. But Monday, they had all kinds of witnesses, and they had their expert guy try to say he says that the car hit Mike O'Keefe, the boyfriend of Karen Reed, who is the defendant, who's accused of killing them. And what's really the underlying essence of this, right? Maybe she was drunk, right? Now, they can't prove it because she wasn't there, right? She came back later in the morning. But think about it. Had lots of cases over the years. They go to an accident, whether somebody's injured or not. Ooh, the driver's not there. I've been retained many, many times. Hey, you may be looking to speak with somebody. Not going to let you speak with them, but if you're going to issue a summons or a citation of some type, let me know, and I'll be more than happy to accept it for them. Oh, no, we're going to have to arrest him because somebody died. Oh, okay. Well, under what theory? Well, we think he was drunk, but we can't prove it. So we're going to go extreme indifference. Oh, okay. Well, good luck with that. Okay. So, once again, don't drink and drive, but you are drunk and nobody's there. I've seen lots of people scurry away and they don't talk to anybody until they've sobered up. I'm not condoning that. So just the way it is. And I know that sounds bad, but unfortunately, that's, like I said, when I say sometimes the most undeserving clients, the ones that do everything wrong morally, but they do everything right in the sense of prevailing in their case. It's frustrating. I get it. I know it is. But let's see here. Let me go back up, see a couple of questions since it is our Tuesday night live show. Try to answer some questions here. Sorry. Let me go back here. Let's see here. Jerry, I got some good advice from a retired judge. Is to put on a suit, shave your head, get a short haircut, and be pensive and remorseful. My attorney was a big help too. Always get one. Man, Jerry, you must have watched our show the other day. I gave almost the exact same advice. If you go to court, put on a suit. Go down, if you can't afford one and you don't have one, go down to the local thrift store. They more than likely have lots of suits there. You're not going to have to get them tailored. You probably find one that fits. Put in a shirt, tuck it on, put on a tie. That makes a difference to the judge. Because I was in court today. And this is a bigger problem. When we stopped, what's the word I'm glad? When we stopped dressing, when every day turned into casual Friday, the courtroom decorum has just done a nosedive. It has. People used to, be concerned about going to court. Oh my gosh, how do I look? Am I going to impress the judge? Now people don't care. People got their pants hanging down to their knees, and I swear to God, they're literally around their knees, held together by a belt, and they can barely walk. I'm like, pull your pants up, man. Pull your pants up. You're not impressing the judge. Take your hat off when you go into the courtroom. Tuck in your shirt, and how about you use yes, Your Honor, no, Your Honor, at minimum, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, no, ma'am, at a minimum. Not yeah, no. You are an adult. Let's make sure you can demonstrate some redeeming qualities in this, particular case. Karen retrial here. We are bringing to you every day. Is the prosecutor's case a work of fiction? I have not watched all of it, but I believe that I would vote not guilty if I had to vote just yet. I don't think, obviously, they're not over yet, but they're getting close. And this is like day 29. Okay, I swear to God, every jurisdiction I practice in, this would be at most a 4 to 5 day trial. At the most. I did that big trial where they noted that I got one of the highest sentences. Not I, but my client did. I did nothing to get that sentence. It was all him. But we had 32 witnesses, 35 witnesses in that case, and we did it in 21 days. I mean, and we were working constantly. Boom, 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 boom. But I don't know what. I think it's an East Coast thing. This judge just doesn't do anything. Let's see here. Yeah, profiling evil. I got a good thing. Don't drink and drive. Don't drink. Scott. Mama, hey, please explain third-party stuff. See. Let me just go back through here. Got a couple more questions. Make sure if you got a question, let me know. Put it in the bottom. We don't ask for super chats, but they do kind of pop up here and there, a little easier to see. I saw the exotic car rental. Oh yeah, this thing. I remember Vin Wiki, the owner of the exotic car rental, had to get his Lambo back because Bieber got arrested street racing in it. Yeah, sometimes what can happen if someone is engaging in crime, something even simple, the police can seize it as a public nuisance. For example, like street racing, getting arrested when, for prostitution, they can seize the car. Yep. So we already did that. The lawyer can't guarantee anything. Let's go back up here. Sorry, I missed a lot of these. No Patreon show tonight. Sorry about that. But we'll be back next week because Frank didn't leave me the instructions for that. And I forgot to ask. It's not Frank's fault. It's mine. Let's see here. Let's see. I'm looking at some of these questions here. Scott is the only child who can entertain himself for hours. I don't know if that is, I'm so proud of you, Scott. You figured out how to use the keyboard. Love. Either way, we are making all kinds of progress. Like I said, I did the intro. I got the little bumper. I got the lawyer. I got Justin Bieber up. I'm telling you, we can do it. Now, hey, one more thing I want to talk about here, okay? I talked about Justin Bieber. We talked about some other stuff. This was the case. If anyone, the neighborhoods watch stuff that they have all the time. The moms are, what's the word I'm looking for? They're on a watchful eye, right? And there was an ice cream guy. And apparently some mom reported that she was watching her kids. They got sent out to go to get some ice cream, and the mom was watching them. And then apparently the guy in the ice cream truck said, "Hey, do you girls need a ride home? Why don't you come on in and I'll give you a ride home?" The girls respectfully declined, told their mom. Mom starts looking into it. Guess what? I just saw a little clip sent to me by the lovely Miss Kristen. It is on the evening news that the ice cream man is a convicted sex offender. Now, okay, let's say, show of hands, how many times have I said this? If there's someone out there trying to get near your kids, they're going to be where the kids are, right? Who buys ice cream on the street with the little music playing? Little kids, right? I remember my parents saying the ice cream man, driving around in his little white van is probably a creeper dude. And sure enough, right? Where do those stereotypes come from? From the pedophile that wants to have your kids selling ice cream to them, right? How many stories have we been on where people, the baseball coach, the basketball coach, is doing inappropriate things with students, right? I like aviation. For those of you who've been watching for a while, I fly. I do maybe forever for Crime Talk 1 to get fixed again, but they did tell me today, probably another couple of weeks. We're working on it. We're getting there. But like if I was looking for people that, of like-mindedness, I'd go to the airport. Why? Because that's where the airplanes are. So if you got people hanging out, maybe that don't have their own kids, that are with these kids, volunteering with these kids, I'm telling you, be careful. Because it turned out the ice cream man in our neighborhood is a sex offender. Be careful, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you, remember, if guys are working at the pizza shop all alone, and you ask him why he works there, it's not going to say because the food is great. He's going to say, because that's where the kids are. You got to be careful. Right? I have my kids, right? I love my kids. They're grown now. And when I have grandkids, I'm going to love them. I'm going to spoil them to death, right? But they're still going to be like, all right, here you go. They're yours again. They're so cute. Let me spoil them for a little while. But they're yours because I raised my kids. But nobody wants to hang out with somebody else's kids that are young and tiny. No. Okay? And sleepovers. I'm telling you, more and more people go to sleepovers. And I know people are going to say, oh my gosh, who is this guy? He is such a teetotaler. First, he's telling us not to drink. Don't buy ice cream anymore. And Don't let your kids do sleepovers. And I'm telling you, don't let your kid do sleepovers. Okay? People do sleepovers what they cannot do at home. That's what we used to do. When I would go on a sleepover, we're going to go TP a house. Or perhaps maybe one of the parents. We had a case here, it wasn't my case, but I read about it in the newspaper, where the adult thought that, the kids were so tired. Oh, the kids are so tired. We need to make sure they get a good night's sleep. So we put drugs in their shakes or Frosties or whatever he was making for them. One of the kids were like, I'm not drinking that. Then the other kids got sick, and guess what? They found out, guy drugging the kids. Why is he drugging the kids? Because he need to make sure they get a good night's sleep. They've been so restless tonight. No, because he apparently was like walking around looking at him. What do you think he was doing? Well, I think he was going to prison for 7 or 8 years, so he can think about what he was doing. I'm telling you, right? And not to be, found, shamelessly sell something, but we do. We have, and you can go to. Maybe here, hold on. We'll just do this. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen.
Please go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up for a background subscription service. You'll be happy you did. If there's anyone out there you were ever curious about what was in their background, now is the time to do it. If you're going to get involved with somebody, now is the time to do it. When you go to crimetalksearch.com, you put in the name, literally millions of public records are searched, and a report is generated. And it's going to give you a report. If they have multiple social media accounts, you're going to find it. If they have multiple phone numbers, multiple email addresses, it's going to be found. And more importantly, you're going to get information regarding criminal history. Hopefully the person you're searching has none whatsoever. But if it's there, it's going to be found. You're going to get everything you'd want to know, whether you're going into business or whether you're going into a personal relationship. You're going to be able to find out the information you want to know. So go to crimetalksearch.com, sign up today. You'll be happy you did.
There you go. Look at that. You had to click one more button here. crimetalksearch.com. I'm telling you, if there's someone that's not, you think just doesn't give the warm fuzzy, or you're thinking, maybe I should send my kids over there. Maybe I should send my kids over. Maybe that baseball coach says he's going to take good care of my kid on these road trips because they're going to sleep in the same room and it's going to all be okay. Or, gee, the male volleyball coach or the swim coach, he sure loves those girls, doesn't he? He spends so much time with them. He's practically constantly training and traveling with them. My goodness. He just seems like such a devoted swim coach. He really loves that swimming. He loves swimming, right? Don't be a fumbler looking for your stuff. Oh, yeah, no, don't be a diddler, right? I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, it's not because I am just a curmudgeonly old man, because I'm not, but the reality of it is, that it's from experience. It is from experience. And I hate to see it. I've seen it play out. And the lovely Miss Kristen says, "Why do you always?" I'm like, "Huh? Just telling you. Are you surprised? I told you you shouldn't be surprised." And it's because that's what I do. That's what I see. I see the bad things in life every day. I see people at their worst and what they can do, and when they have addictions and all those types of things. So we think he forgot to turn in his mic. My God, and that was the first time I noticed. It sounds okay in my ears. It's turned all the way up. I don't know. I think there's a way he's actually using that S&B. I don't know. He's doing the best without. I'm doing the best without Frank. I mean, I can hear it. It sounds okay here. So I got the headphones on, so I make sure I can hear it. So I don't know. I mean, I got this board over here. It's got all kinds of buttons. I'm afraid to touch anything to do that. I purposely tried not to touch a single thing so that Frank can't say that I did something wrong and mess up the sound. Okay, Melanie's saying I can hear just fine. Sounds good to me. I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see. Input wrong your computer or something. I don't know. Hey, Frank set it up. First one to complain on civil law. Appreciate that. You don't call, you don't write, you show up and you criticize my sound. Thanks in civil law. No, just kidding. Hey, if it didn't sound good, I mean, seriously, let me know. We want to get it fixed. You know, we spend all this money and all this cool equipment. Like, look at this new arm. I got another one over here. I've got an interview, I think Friday afternoon, with an interesting person indeed. Shh. I don't even want to go there because I don't want to do it. But I'm just saying, let's just say this person is going to talk about maybe a criminal run that maybe she and her husband had for a little bit of a while. And I may have represented somebody in that case, but they're willing to talk about it. And their experience in going to federal prison as well. So hopefully that comes through on Friday. We'll tape it and we'll put it up. But I think it'll be good for, good Sunday afternoon. See, look, Stacy. Hi, Scott. You're doing great. Frank would be proud. Actually, Frank sent me a text the other day. He said, "Sir, you're doing good. You're doing good." I was. In fact, let me read it to you. This was from Frank the other day. Here we go. He was telling me how the Karen Reed got no clean feed because it got stuck or whatever. He says, "You're doing good. Please let me know if you need anything." Whatever. I said, "I had a microphone, has a problem." He said, "It looked good." He said, "I'm doing good." He says, "You're doing great with the live shows. Don't take my job," with the little the little smiley face with tears laughing. Apparently he knows he has job security. He has job security. But I am doing my best as I sit here in the control center back here, doing everything. Sounds hollow is all. That's so weird. Hollow. And I got all these buttons over here, but I don't know what to push and I don't know what to do. I don't want to push something and mess it up. And geez, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Maybe is that better? Maybe is that better? I don't know. Let's see here what Uncivil Law has to say. Sounds like some of the audio we're hearing in the camera is built audio and the wrong input is selected in the computer interface. It's possible. I don't think it is. Maybe it's possible. I touched one of these buttons right here and we did it right there. Love you, Miss Kristen. Leave it. We'll figure it out later. There you go. All right. Deb, you're doing great. Oh, look, Melanie says it's better. So maybe I had it turned up too loud. Scott, there is a super chat. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to miss super chat. Sorry. Let's go back up and try and find the super chat. Let's see here if we can do that. Is this it? Bon Jovi rips off fans with auto pen autographs. Oh, man. That's not really a legitimate autograph. I mean, hey, but if it's good enough for the president, right? They do the auto pen stuff. But you would think, come on, guys, what are they going to charge, right? It's just KJ, right? Yeah, they sign the damn thing. Sign it. Sign it, Bon Jovi. Don't use the auto pen. That's so government. That's so bureaucrat. On Civil Law, Scott. Love you, man. Keep on. We're moving on. We're doing all right. Like I said, it's the I don't know. This feels like day 99 without Frank. And hey, if you're in the Denver area, you're good at writing, good at business, let me know. Okay, shoot me an email or something along those lines, because yeah, I'm missing lots of opportunities, and I need somebody to help me out on that. All right, so if you're interested, shoot me an email, but it's got to be local. I don't do work from home, just the way it is. Got to come to the office. So you got to be local. Let's see here. I just got, Jerry. I hope you're feeling better, buddy. Terrible. Let me go back up here and see if I missed something. It seems like I missed something. Scott, there's a super chat. We got that. Thank you. Until you're not a distraction, but I appreciate. Hey, some people said it sounds better. I think it does actually sound a little better in my headphones here, because I turned down just a hair. So yeah. All right. But anyway, uncivil law. We need to connect. There's so much stuff going on. Seriously, there's a lot of stuff going on. Cases have resolved. We got the Karen Reed stuff is coming to an end as well. We just got all kinds of stuff. There's good stuff. We got the trial coming up in Santa Fe shortly as it relates to Alec Baldwin. Now, Justin Timberlake gets a DUI, which we talked about in the first part of the show as well. Never dull moment, man. Just when you think there's nothing else to talk about, it all changes just like that. So, all right, everyone, it's that time. Wow, we went even longer than we could, probably because I'm not going to do a Patreon show because Frank didn't tell me that. Uncivil law. Karen Reed is stupid on its whole another level. Yes, it is. Why they keep going, I do not know. And why is it taking forever? Maybe somebody can tell me that. Pre-orders of his new album. Yeah, don't do the auto pen, though. That's just not cool. Like, make it legit. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying. So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all for joining us tonight on our Tuesday night live show. Hopefully you got something out of it. We learn from other people's mistakes. Justin Timberlake. What not to do when you're getting pulled over. What not to do. Rule number 1, don't drink and drive. Never admit to drinking. Don't do voluntary roadside maneuvers. If you're totally loaded, you may not want to take that test. Have what they refer to as a double refusal, but at least they don't have the test to go along with the officer observations, which you can reasonably rationalize and explain why you were fumbling. It was dark. You were unfamiliar with the car. I'm Justin Timberlake. You know how many cars I have? My gosh, my people put that stuff in there. I don't do that stuff. Of course I fumbled. I got out because I thought the guy was getting close to me. I thought he was asking for an autograph, so I stepped back. I didn't smell like alcohol. I had 1 martini. Look at the bill. 1 martini. Think about it, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this guy. Been doing this stuff for real life stuff. Real life stuff. So I think I know what I'm talking about. I really do. So, all right. Have a wonderful evening. We will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. And yes, remember, the Constitution matters. Have a wonderful night.